Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. The Miami Heat have hit rock bottom. There is only one way to fix it. The Miami Heat have hit rock bottom. Their 105-102 loss to the Charlotte Hornets on Monday night marked a new low in a season full of disappointments. It was their fourth straight defeat and fifth loss in 6 games, dropping them further down the Eastern Conference standings. This wasn't just any old loss. The Heat blew a 17-point lead to the Hornets, a team that hadn't won a single division game all season. Miami had chances to pull it out late, but Bam Adebayo's airball three-pointer and Tyler Herro's missed game-tying attempt sealed their fate. The Heat look lost. They've forgotten how to win. There's a lack of continuity, a lack of understanding, maybe even a lack of faith in one another. The effort is there, but it wanes as games progress. This feels more psychological than anything else. Remember when the Heat were challenging the Cavaliers just a week ago? That feels like ancient history now. Every game seems to present a new opportunity for Miami to underperform in increasingly spectacular fashion. They're finding innovative ways to lose and new lows. The joy is gone from this team. They look like a group of guys clocking in for a job they hate. There's an emotional fatigue weighing on them, likely stemming from the Jimmy Butler drama earlier this season. That trauma has set in, and it's unclear if they'll be able to shake it off this year. Coach Erik Spoelstra is trying to stay positive, preaching about sticking together and overcoming adversity. But at this point, it feels like empty words. The Heat are the NBA's George Costanza. No matter what they do, it's destined to end poorly. So, what's next for Miami? Embracing the tank? Can Kevin Durant or another star save them this summer? Whatever path they choose, one thing is clear: this team needs an emotional reset. They need to rediscover the joy of playing basketball together. The Heat have lost their identity. Once known for outperforming expectations and overcoming adversity, they now expect to lose. It's a stunning fall for a proud franchise. As they forge ahead, the only thing left to do is play out the string and hope for better days ahead. The 2024-25 season can't end soon enough. He's got it, an oral history of the NBA's COVID-19 shutdown and how it changed sports forever. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver entered the Barclays Center in Brooklyn before the hometown Nets hosted the Detroit Pistons. It was Chinese Cultural Night. The Nets players wore warm-up shirts honoring the Lunar New Year, and the starting lineups were announced in Chinese. Traditional lion dancers were scattered throughout the arena. On the main concourse, fans could have their names written in custom Chinese calligraphy and enjoy Niangao desserts, also known as Chinese New Year rice cake. Before the game, Silver stepped into the Diamond Lounge, a private room inside the arena, where a small reception recognizing local Chinese Americans, namely business leaders, was being held. The small space was crowded, with close to 50 attendees. At the bar, Silver spotted a familiar face, Dr. David Ho, a renowned virologist who had consulted with the NBA in the early 1990s when Magic Johnson announced he had tested positive for HIV. It was Ho's second Nets game at Barclays Center, and he had been personally invited by Nets owner Joe Tsai. Ho, a professor of medicine at Columbia University Medical Center in New York and the founding director of the Aaron Diamond AIDS Research Center, immediately recognized Silver. They greeted each other with pleasantries, but very quickly, with COVID-19 dominating the headlines, Silver broached a question. "What do you think is going to happen?" Silver asked. It was January 29, 2020, a few weeks after Silver first heard about a virus spreading through China from colleagues in the league offices there, and 6 days after deciding to close those offices as a precaution. Ho had first heard of the virus around Christmas 2019 from specialists in China with whom he had worked when he served as an advisor to the Chinese and Hong Kong governments during the SARS outbreak in 2002. During that time, Ho had traveled to China and Hong Kong. You would not believe how that region was affected, Ho told ESPN. You could go to Beijing and there would be no cars on the street. Ho didn't know what kind of threat COVID-19 posed, but he knew that if the Chinese government was willing to lock down the city of Wuhan, home to 11 million residents and the site from which the outbreak was said to have begun on January 23, then the threat was serious. Back inside the Diamond Lounge, Ho pointed out something Silver would never forget. If you notice, he told Silver, the restaurants in Chinatown are empty. Silver paused. The Chinese community in the U.S. are quite aware of what's going on in China, much more than the general public, Ho said. And the Chinatown restaurants are a reflection of that. People are scared. The two talked for 15 minutes. Silver had already been concerned about the possibility of filling NBA arenas with nearly 20,000 fans, but the unemotional, matter-of-fact tone from Ho was striking. The next morning, on the same day the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak a global public health emergency, Silver called Ho and asked whether he would serve as a consultant for the NBA on COVID-19. Ho agreed. Kevin Love fires back at Skip Bayless, calling Kevin Durant mentally semi-retired. Miami Heat forward Kevin Love fired back at analyst Skip Bayless for his comments about Kevin Durant. Bayless recently shared a video on social media claiming that Durant looks mentally semi-retired at this stage in his career. Love didn't appear to agree with Bayless' take, claiming that Bayless was instigating things because it is profitable. It's nice to see that Love has Durant's back, even though the two players have never been on the same team together in the NBA. In fact, Durant and Love matched up against each other in the NBA Finals during Durant's time with the Golden State Warriors and Love's time with the Cleveland Cavaliers. While Durant's Warriors got the best of the Cavs in both of those meetings, it appears that Love has respect for the former league MVP. This season, Durant and the Phoenix Suns have struggled when it comes to winning games. Phoenix is just the number 11 seed in the Western Conference and is 1.5 games back of the number 10 seeded Dallas Mavericks. The Suns could still make the play-in tournament in the Western Conference, especially since Kyrie Irving is out for the season for Dallas with a torn ACL. Durant has played well in the 2024-25 season, and he earned yet another nod to the All-Star game in the process. The two-time NBA Finals MVP is averaging 26.8 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game while shooting 52.9% from the field and 39.8% from three. While Bayless may think that Durant is nearing the end, at least from a mental perspective, the Suns star hasn't really shown any signs of slowing down from a production standpoint. He's shooting a better percentage from the field than he did last season, and he's averaging just 0.3 fewer points per game despite taking 0.7 fewer shots per game for Phoenix this season. Hopefully, both Durant and Love will get a chance to compete for a playoff spot this season. The Heat are currently in the play-in tournament mix in the Eastern Conference. And you, fan? What do you think about Kevin Durant's situation? Write to us in the comments.